Tomorrow is a big day on Wall Street. Elon Musk's rocket company, SpaceX, is due to go public. It could be the largest initial public offering in history, making big money for Musk and some of his top employees. It's all part of a fast-growing space economy, private companies competing for the future. Our Mark Strassman has more.
We're watching an economy launch with otherworldly value. Marquee names such as SpaceX and Blue Origin, but dozens of smaller ones too. In this emerging market, the sky is the limit.
This is a mock-up of the Earth Observatory.
Take Axiom Space in Houston. It's building a commercial space station.
This is what's going to the moon.
Firefly Aerospace in Austin builds launch vehicles, orbital vehicles, and lunar landers.
This is where we assemble our spacecraft.
Intuitive Machines in Houston wants to deliver cargo to the moon. In the roughly $600 billion global space economy of 2024, the commercial sector dwarfed government investment by more than 3 to 1.
To create orbital data centers and AI data centers and mass drivers on the moon. That's the economy that we want in space that's going to ultimately result with more people living and working in space and maybe someday make us a multiplanetary species.
It's space, the new frontier of commerce.
It's got to.
So how will this space economy affect the rest of us? Joining us now to explore this new frontier of finance is Christian Davenport. He's a CBS News space contributor and the author of Rocket Dreams, Musk, Bezos, and the inside story of the trillion-dollar space race. Good morning to you, Christian. Can we just start with this idea of the space economy? Because I think so many of us, we don't even think of space as this big business opportunity.
Yeah, right. So it all starts with the rockets. I mean, we just saw Starship taking off in that previous segment, and there are a lot of companies, in addition to SpaceX, that are building big reusable rockets that is dramatically lowering the cost of access to space. And that allows you to put many more satellites up. So we've seen Starlink, for example, all of that internet communication that SpaceX is putting up. Amazon wants to do that. We're seeing remote sensing. I mean, one of the ways that we use space every day in our lives is GPS, for example, that little blue dot on your phone that allows you to use Waze or Google Maps or Uber Eats also actually is the backbone for the financial sector as well. And we are seeing, there was just recently a review in Space News that showed there are 30 companies today in the United States that have reached unicorn status, $1 billion valuation or more, and 2/3 of those actually reached that status within the last year and a half. And half were just founded in the last 5 years. So it's really growing and growing quite rapidly.
And speaking of money, SpaceX is expected to make its stock market debut tomorrow. How has this opened the door for more development in the space economy?
Yeah, SpaceX has made it, mainstream. It wasn't that long ago that, space was really seen as a niche sector for investors. I mean, the joke was that it's so risky that the easiest way to become a millionaire in space was to start out as a billionaire because you were going to lose your shirt. SpaceX makes it look easy. They launch a rocket every 2 days. But the fact of the matter is, it's not easy. And we just saw this a couple of weeks ago when Blue Origin, for example, had its New Glenn rocket blow up in dramatic fashion and obliterate the launch pad. So I think there's also a note of caution that this is capitalism. And in capitalism, there are going to be companies that thrive, and I think Blue Origin's going to be thriving, and other companies are going to thrive. But there are also going to be companies that take a lot of investment and fail. And that's just capitalism, but now we see it in space.
So, Christian, let's get a little wonky here. What are some of the out-of-the-box ideas that companies are floating, for lack of a better term, that they can develop in space? What are the other industries that can be part of the space economy?
Yeah, and what's so interesting to me about this question is it wasn't that long ago that having a rocket that could be reusable was out-of-the-box thinking. It wasn't that long ago that having, fleets of constellations of thousands of satellites operate autonomously in orbit was out-of-the-box thinking. And now those are mainstream. That's happening. And now you're seeing a lot of companies, for example, wanting to go to space to harness the energy of the sun and get all of that unfiltered solar power and beam it back to Earth, which really could help our energy needs. You're seeing, of course, all this talk about the orbital data centers that could go up. You're seeing commercial space stations being developed and being built, not just one like we saw with Axiom before, but several. And these are built not just for science and research and testing pharmaceuticals, but also for luxury and comfort and space tourism. So you're seeing all of these different ideas blossoming up because the cost of access to space has just gone down so dramatically. So you can build on top of that infrastructure and do so many more things.
And real quick, is it safe to say this is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry?
Well, I mean, I think that remains to be seen. Right now, the government is driving so much of it. And that's not just NASA, but that's the Pentagon with their big budgets. SpaceX was able to build on top of that government investment. Early on, Elon Musk actually changed his login password to I love NASA after NASA came in with a big contract. So we're just going to have to see if other companies are able to replicate SpaceX's success. And building off that IPO, I think there's only going to be more momentum.
Yeah, I know we've been hearing it for decades, but it truly does feel like the future is now, and it's going to be lucrative. Christian Davenport, thank you.